Mr. President. One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States to work.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H-1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board. We've spoken to them about the gold card.
They love it. They love it. They really love it. They need it.
And while that new fee, which is going to be challenged in U.S. courts, upends the American immigration system, it could have an impact on Canada. Joining me now to unpack this is Brendan Caldwell, Director at Caldwell Securities Limited. Brendan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Julie. They love it. They love it. They need this thing. I'm sorry. You do your thing.
Brendan, Trump is going to charge a hefty $100,000 for the H-1B foreign talent visa. Is this positive in recruiting foreign workers, and why?
Well, I mean, I see their point, not brilliantly articulated, but the idea is that they want, if you're going to use this particular visa, it has to be for something that matters, someone that matters to you so much as a company that you're willing to pay $100,000 a year in what amounts to a tax to the U.S. government to have this person come and work in the United States. So I think what the president and his team were endeavoring to say was that this visa, as it is currently constituted, was more of a way to train foreign workers in the United States, and rather than what they're hoping to do is train Americans in America from American colleges. So they will probably have the intent that they were looking for, that the really high-end professional, whoever she or he may be, will still go to work for Google or Apple if it's a tiny fraction of a seven-figure salary. But at the margins, I would say, margins being anybody making less than, say, $500,000, that's a big, big number. So I do think that to the extent that American companies were training technology workers coming from overseas, yeah, I think that's probably closed the loophole pretty resoundingly.
So let's talk about how is this good for Canada? Well,
It means that potentially, at least, we could be training more foreign workers to come and work here. Now, the trick has been, of course, it's kind of like filling a bathtub with the plug pulled out. You can pour in the best and brightest talent, but whether you can keep them in Canada or whether it just flows out down south thereafter, it's been a challenge that we've had. I think we've really had two issues with that. One, attracting people from overseas. Canada may have, in many cases, been seen as a second choice, except for the most discerning of emigre. But the other has been capital. You need both to really create a technology juggernaut. You need both people and capital. You need talent and money. And we have not been done a very good job of marshaling the ability to raise money for public companies in the leading edge technology areas. We've been leading the fight to try and make it easier, but it's not an easy fight.
Now, we have been worried of the Canadian brain drain. Will this also help us keep our intellectual property here now?
To a point, yes. I mean, this is part of a larger general unfriendliness toward the U.S., where if you were coming from overseas, and even if that overseas is Canada, there is a reluctance. There's a real reluctance to spend any money, spend any time, or to emigrate in the United States that wasn't there a very short time ago. So yes, I do think we complain a lot about Canada. Canadians are fond of complaining about Canada, not just the weather. But I mean, the reason that so many hundreds of thousands of people are trying to come here, and indeed millions would like to come here every year, is that compared to the rest of the world, it's still pretty amazing. So yes, I do think that the relative unattractiveness of which this H1N1, no, that's not right, which this new visa fee is just but a symptom of it. There's a lot else in the process that I think goes into people's decision making.
Should we retreat from immigration then?
No. Now, I do think that we should be sensitive about it. I mean, it's been, I would say, quite challenging. Never have so many files crossed my desk as, hey, we've got this person or that person, the other person. And it's got me actually really upset, because we've invested 2, 3, 4 years in a number of these peoples that are working with our firm. We've helped build them up and build their careers. And now it's a real fight to keep them in Canada. Portfolio managers and other professionals that we really want to keep. It used to be that they needed, I'm pulling numbers out of the air, but call it, say, 480 something points. There's a point system to the immigration process. And that number shot up to like 535 or 540, something like that. So and I don't know how one accumulates points. I'm not familiar with the system directly, but suffice to say, we're making it very, very difficult for people with good jobs that are here, that have been with us for a long time, to stay in Canada. We're going to put all of the resources we have as a firm to keeping our people, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case everywhere. So I think we're dealing with a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. People say, oh, there's too much immigration. Now, rather than slowing the tide of people coming in, we're making it difficult for people that are already here, already established, already contributing to the economy to stay. And I think that's a problem.
Can you speculate as to what type
I
of
speculate
careers...
very well, Julie. I'm an extremely good speculator.
Well, let's speculate as to what type of careers may or may not be interesting for Canada to try to focus on with this change with the U.S.
Well, I think we need a lot of everything. Trying to find a doctor recently. We've got a shortage of nurses. That's on the healthcare end. Funnily enough, we're actually really good up in Canada at seeing the United States a little more clearly. So Canada's a wonderful place to actually look at the U.S. and see where the gaps are. I mean, we have an investment in a healthcare software as a service company called Lyceum Health. It's a private company. But they've looked at the U.S. healthcare system and the specialty pharmaceutical industry and have done innovative ways to help address issues in that market. So there are lots of things that we can do from the outside looking in Canada, from healthcare, artificial intelligence. Of course, I mean, AI in its modern form really got its birth just up the street from where I am now at the University of Toronto. And there aren't, to my knowledge, any public AI companies. We have an investment in a company called Cohere, which is still private. But the U.S. has leapfrogged us in their ability to raise capital effectively. So I do think there's a whole host of ranges. And I mean, I still have my BlackBerry on me. We have been leading edge in Canada in communications and all the technologies for a very long time. It's just keeping that lead in a world where it's difficult to raise capital has been our challenge.
Brendan, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Julie. And I do hope we have more good Canadians. And I do hope we stand to benefit from this. A bit of an own goal, as the British would say, that the Americans seem to be perpetrating on themselves.
Take care.
And you.